I have been given question number 1. Many insist that stricter regulations and higher costs for travelers are needed to protect vulnerable ecosystems and community. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this view? Over-tourism has become epidemic all over the world, with the most tourist-dense spots beginning to suffer from our newly found nomadic leisure habits. On this, some have suggested that governments should be stricter regarding its developments and price control should be in effect. I find myself fully in concurrence with this idea and will explain as to why in my speech. First of all, one of the main problems with mass tourism as we see it in our contemporary society is indeed the destruction of nature and cultures in favor of profits. For one, tourism is a costly endeavor, costly not in terms of just monetary investment, but also in demands and in terms of the burden that it places upon its destinations. Tourists bring with them not only their physical bodies, but also their demands and expectations. Thus, hotels are erected, infrastructures is laid, and thus the environment that they visit are invariably and irreversibly damaged and changed. As concrete buildings rise, trees fall in their place, and as people come, oceans are filled with waste and plastic in lieu of scenic coasts and beautiful silver waves. Take for example, Halong Bay, an example that is extremely close to home, where whole bodies of waters are now filled for foundations for hotels and resorts, ruining the rustic and wild sceneries that once brought it acclaim. Not only that, tourism will also bring with them the whitewashing of cultures, where locals and aboriginals sacrifice their own unique and perhaps a little eccentric ways of life to please the demands and expectations of travelers, all in the name of capital. This could come in the way of shifting priorities. The masses of tourism will, of course, stimulate local economies, especially in the service sector. While this could seem like an advantage at first, it's a slow-burning flame that could engulf local cultures in westernization. For one, local artisans of traditional crafts could neglect their history and choose to commodify their art, selling the surface-level resemblances of their cultures for profit and, in turn, foregoing their authenticity. So goes for rituals and festivals, with locals diluting their own ceremonies for the beholding of tourists, and thus, in time, losing their traditions to the thrill and chase of profits. This could already be seen in Australia, where Aboriginal tribes are commodifying their crafts and rituals in exchange for the short-term entertainment of tourists, sparking fears of dilution and cultural whitewashing. Thus, it's undeniable that over-tourism is problematic for both cultures and the environment. As such, legislative action is imperative in stopping this emerging trend, helping to curb the growth of shallow tourism and disencourage the profiteering of one's own culture. Governments and local authorities must first recognize the problems to introduce effective and timely resolutions instead of letting the problem run its course all in the name of profits. Monetary solutions could also serve to deter quick profits and business schemes to form around cultures. Demanding a higher premium on tourism could serve to filter out those who are only traveling for shallow means such as internet acclaim and allow those with genuine respect for the places they are traveling to a real unimpeded opportunity to see the sites for what it is. This will mean that there are safeguards against the slippery slope, with laws protecting cultural artifacts and maintaining their sanctity in the face of tourism. Another solution could be to limit the freedom of the tourist industry, establishing safe zones free from the grasp of capital endeavors, such as national parks or Aboriginal territories, so that they are left to their own devices and so that they may roam and thrive free of the allure of money. This could also mean giving local communities the necessary funding and aid to develop cultures without the need for the tourist monies. In conclusion, I am fully in concurrence with the idea that legislative action is necessary in curbing over-tourism. However, it's important to recognize that this is only the band-aid short-term solution, and that we should address the situations that the tourist industry prey upon with regards to local cultures as well to ensure the cultural heritage preservation.